Hey, what's up and welcome back. Hope everybody's having a good Christmas Eve, and if this year has been especially tough on you and you're feeling down, well, I got something to cheer you up. Chapter 137 of One Punch Man gets back to business with Tatsumaki versus Psychos, but not only that, we have probably the most we have ever seen of Blast in Tatsumaki's flashback, as well as some development for Tatsumaki's background, which was very interesting stuff. But the chapter starts out with Bang arriving with the other heroes who are planning to go help Tatsumaki and Drive Knight fight off Psychos, and Tatsumaki is basically has fallen unconscious. So Bang is like, hey, you guys didn't invite me. And Child Emperor is actually feeling kind of bad about this, but Bang kind of reassures him that he made the right decision because, Bang might get his emotions involved with Garo and might kind of compromise their main goals and everything like that. But Bang reassures him and says, no, I'm going to be the one to take down Garo. Now, this is setting up for hopefully the future, and I'm really looking forward to Bang and Garo's fight, even though Garo has gotten in like an insane boost in power since he last saw him. So it's basically going to be Bang versus Monster Garo here. So Blizzard is very worried about Tatsumaki, which is nice, and she's like, we gotta go help my sister. So we get some awesome imagery of Tatsumaki standing above, on top of this giant twisted pillar that she basically made when she twisted up Psychos's monster cells and kind of just squeezed the life out of them, so to speak. And that kind of factors into something Drive Knight says a little bit later. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I love how Tatsumaki is still standing there. She's unconscious and standing up there, holding her arms out, still doing her psychic stuff. And this is kind of, I don't know, a trope of One Punch Man, I guess, and maybe an anime of general, but Garo did this earlier when he was fighting Darkshine. He kind of was unconscious while fighting Darkshine, and that's kind of how his potential was kind of unlocked, so to speak, and he defeated Darkshine. He's like, and then he woke up and he's like, oh, what's happening here? So we get back to Psychos and Drive Knight's air battle, and some of this was really cool because I'm pretty sure this is Metal Knight. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I get Drive Knight, Metal Knight, and then of course Child Emperor has his robot, which doesn't look like this. So correct me who this is. I'm pretty sure it's Metal Knight, but he jumps in and saves Tatsumaki from getting hit by Psychos' giant missiles. And that was really cool because everybody's starting to jump in, but not the entire group. Everybody's like, you got Demon Cyborg, and then you got Drive Knight now, or Metal Knight now, and Drive Knight's kind of holding Psychos off while Tatsumaki's still doing her psychic stuff. So man, Psychos is nothing to scoff at, tell you what. But Drive Knight, Demon Cyborg, god damn, Genos comes in right next to. I love this image with both of them holding their arms up and just fighting off Psychos. This image is awesome right here, and Tatsumaki's kind of going back to her past, and this is where we surprisingly get Blast in all of his glory except for most of his face. You even see some of his face here, and there's a bit something that he says that's very interesting. But she is basically in this facility, which is probably, I'm guessing, where they also later took Blizzard to for her psychic abilities, and also Psychos, because Psychos mentioned that they have some sort of tie together. So it's really cool because the guys of this facility, it basically notes that Tatsumaki doesn't have any abilities. They're running from this big monster, and they're like, screw that stupid kid. She doesn't have any abilities at all. But no, that's not the case. By the way, this is 18 years ago. And you know what that means, boys? That Tatsumaki is confirmed to be of age. You sick bastards. But she is left by them because she acted like she didn't have any abilities in hopes that they would let her go. But in fact, it kind of screwed her over in the end, because this giant monster is going to kind of go and kill her. So she tries to fight it off, but this thing is just too big and powerful, I guess. But thankfully, Blast shows up very unexpectedly and just has punched a giant hole through this boar demon monster, which actually kind of reminds me of Princess Mononoke now that I think about it. But Blast is standing there and he's like, hey, you can come out now. And he's like, I'm Blast. I work as a hero. And this shot is awesome. Like his chest piece that says Blast, his spiky hair, and this actually shows some of his personality, because at first he's like this badass, like really confident dude, but then he's like, well, I'm not actually a hero. I have my own day job. And it's kind of funny because he, like, the words that he says aren't that carefully chosen. He's not like that kind of hero. And he says, I guess this hero stuff is more of a hobby, which should remind us all of somebody that we know, and that is Saitama. Saitama says, I am a hero for fun, right? So I don't know, is there a relation between Blast and Saitama? And this is important too, because this design of Blast confirms when My Mask saw him in his flashback. So this is Blast. It's not just My Mask's imagination of what Blast looks like. Does that make sense? So anyway, this was really cool, and this probably inspired Tatsumaki to become a hero herself. And she tells him that she doesn't have abilities, and he's like, no, I know better than that. And apparently he can kind of tell potential. But another thing is that it zooms in on this box that Blast is holding. I'm wondering what this box is, or what is important about it. I guess we'll find out in the future. So I love this flashback. And she, man, this little kid who's been trapped in here by these adult fucking assholes, and she's like, oh, Mama and Papa sold me off. And I'm like, oh, so Tatsumaki has a lot in common with Rey Skywalker, right, guys? Rey Skywalker. But they show a little picture of little Blizzard, and she's so cute, such a little cutie pie. But apparently later, this facility hasn't been shut down. They just go ahead and Blizzard is probably sold off by her mama and papa too. This poor little girl, man, makes me feel really bad. But Blast kind of reassures her, and she's like, protect your family, and don't give up, basically. And we jump back to the future, and Tatsumaki is so worn out here that she doesn't have the energy to stop the blood and spit from going out of her mouth. If you've ever ran a marathon or worked out for a really long time, and you're so fatigued that functions like keeping spit out of your mouth, it just kind of goes to the wayside. So she thinks of her little sister Blizzard, who is contacting her, and she's like, I'm here to help you, hang in there. And Tatsumaki's like, no, I'm the big sister, I'm the one who's supposed to protect you. And she's like, don't underestimate me, blah. And oh man, it's so cool. But we jump to Drive Night and Psychos, and this stuff going through this tunnel with their jets, you can really get a good, awesome sense of speed. And this really reminded me of Star Fox going through the last level, trying to avoid the walls that were coming out at you. But Drive Night notices the monster cells that Tatsumaki had destroyed, and they're sitting there, and he's like, oh, that little beep. Because we all know Drive Night, he loves to acquire data and technology and everything, and he would want to acquire these monster cells to study them and probably help evolve him and his power, So Tatsumaki jumps into action and starts fighting as well against Psychos. But This goes on for quite some time. Genos jumps into action as well, and we get Genos and Metal Knight teaming up against Psychos. Psychos tries to shoot Genos, but Drive Knight goes in to kind of shield Genos so that they can both blast her with their freaking chest lasers. This is awesome, and this is where it concluded, and I turned the page and I'm like, oh no, this can't be the end. I want to see the blast that they freaking shoot her with their giant cannons, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm really looking forward to that next chapter, guys. But knowing how One Punch Man is, the next chapter is probably going to be like a short, unrelated chapter. But man, this chapter was awesome in every way. I can't think of any downside to it really, except maybe the dogfight scene went on a little bit long, but it was still freaking awesome. But what do you guys think? Drop your thought waves down in the comments below. Thanks for watching and take it easy.